Good morning. Welcome to Brittney on the Bluff, brought to you each weekday by Today's Computers, Key Drugs, First Community Bank, and Whitworth's Gift Chest Jewelers in Poplar Bluff. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're talking about the Stage Company, one of our local community theater groups here in Poplar Bluff, and their latest production of It's a Wonderful Life. I'm so excited. Hey, guys. Everybody just say, hey. Oh, wow, that sounded cool. As you can tell, we've got several people in the studio this morning, part of the cast, and, of course, this year's director, Shelley Dunn. How are you doing? Shelley, pull that over there in front of you so we can hear you real quick.
I'm doing well, Brittany. How are you?
I'm just fine. Now, you got to tell me right off the bat why It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, it's a fan favorite, and we've talked about what were our successful Christmas shows of the past, what did people want to see again when the board was planning on our season this year. And we were all in agreement that It's a Wonderful Life is one that we want to repeat. That's one we want to keep, using from time to time, and had good success with that in the past. And so far, we think we're going to have good success this year too. We did a production for the school, for the junior high in O'Neill's third grade yesterday, and they loved it. Great response from those students, and we're
really
excited.
Even those younger, because even at that age, you think, well, they're not fans of classic old black and white movies and that kind of thing. But
and we're hoping that this will kind of help them want to go back and watch that. Because even my own students who are, what's that movie? What is that? Because it's black and white, they haven't seen it and have no plan to see it. But now they want to go back and see that. So unless their parents have made them do it, they have, really no understanding of what that message is and what the movie and the wonderful actors like Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed and Lionel Barrymore. So, so it's exciting that we get to kind of help be an education of culture there.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I was telling you guys before the show started, it's my favorite movie of all time. Yes. And, of course, Jimmy Stewart, my favorite actor of all time. But, some people watch It's a Wonderful Life these days, and like Sean.
Right.
He thinks it's a little cheesy. Well, sure it is, but it's Christmas. It's supposed to be a little cheesy. You know what I mean? Those kinds of movies. But the message in the story of It's a Wonderful Life, I can't tell you how many times over my lifetime when I started feeling a little down, and I actually thought about that movie, and I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna be one of those people that doesn't appreciate the fact that I've had an impact on other people's lives.
Exactly.
We all do.
We do, and we have no idea who we affect in our world.
That's
we really do sometimes get centrally focused on us and forget that we really have effect on others.
Right.
And it's amazing when, if you get an illness or something happens in your life and people that step up and say, hey, we're there for you, we want to help you because you've done this for us and you're special to us. And it's really interesting to see people step up and help one another. And obviously the message of this story does that very thing. So George hits some hard times and his community rallies around him because they have mad love and mad respect for the man. And so, and who doesn't enjoy that particular kind of message? So.
Wow. Well, since I love the movie so much, I'm very anxious to see how you handle it on stage.
It's tricky.
I bet it is because, people have a kind of a preconception of the story in their mind. And you want to kind of keep true to that story, but at the same time, you want to give them something kind of fresh.
Yes, absolutely. And that is the daunting task of doing something of this nature. And even though we all love it, and as I said before, it's a fan favorite. And so, but it's a little intimidating going in, okay, people are going to come see this play, and we are not Donna Reed, we are not Jimmy Stewart, we are not Lionel Barrymore, and we can't make that film on stage like
you should
they
even
did.
try to,
And so, but what I told my actors going in is like, capture the essence of the character. We want this message to get out, because regardless of what it looks like on screen and what it looks like in real life, the message is powerful, and we want people to be able to walk away with some hope from here with this message. And these folks do that. They really do an amazing job. There's often times in rehearsal that I'll get so caught up in watching them bring those characters to life and telling that story, they'll forget, oh, I need to fix this thing, or I need to, oh, we got a little glitch here, and
forget to direct,
right? Because they'll do a marvelous job. They really do, and it's just delightful. The characters are wonderful. I couldn't have asked for a better cast. Seriously, they have anything I've asked them to do, they have stepped up and done it and more, and they just are a blessing to me personally and professionally, and I think they're going to be a great blessing to our community as they tell this story. So.
I do too. Is it? Are you trying to keep it true to like the time period?
Yeah,
and that sort of thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The script is from the movie, of course, and the only thing that's really going to be different is there's a couple of scenes in the movie that are not in the play, that are not in the script, but everything in the script is in the movie. So the biggest problem we have is with the scene changes, because we don't have a stationary set with flaps and one room, because there's so many different scenes that happen. And so
there's no way you could change the scenes.
But we have
that
huge
often.
set pieces that are on wagons that my husband here, who plays Clarence, who built, and we had several helpers from cast and crew that helped build these huge wagons that these set pieces move on and off on rollers, and so that kind of helped make that a little easier transition, and got a great stage crew, because I was worried, and everybody that knows that I've told them repeatedly, my biggest fear in this was I do not want to have a 10-minute wait for the transition to get set and for a 3-minute scene, because some of those scenes are that fast and that quick, and you're like, okay. And so that crew has done an amazing job getting that stuff set, getting it there in place, and I just have the best crew as well to help me out. And we're doing some multimedia stuff. Chris Michael has helped us with that, because we're using some pictures, since we don't have a stationary set. We're using projection and projecting some pictures, some from the movie, and that we're able to use, and so it kind of helps us get in the mood and Christmas and winter and that kind of thing. And so that's been a pleasing effect as well, and it has come off better than because I was crossing my fingers there for a while, wondering how are we going to get this to fly, how are we going to make this work, and it's done really well. Everybody has stepped up their game.
As soon as I heard It's a Wonderful Life, my first thoughts were, okay, how do you portray this? The scenes from heaven jumping right into on earth, and how do you get George currently and George in the past, and so that I could see that could be a little tricky in a stage presentation. It's easy in a movie, that's no big deal, but on stage that can be a little tricky.
Absolutely.
So I'm very anxious to see how all this works, how you work it all together.
Well, thank you.
From a technical standpoint as well. JD, you're Clarence.
That's right, yes.
You look like a Clarence.
Okay, great.
That's a compliment, by the way. If you took it the wrong way, I don't want you to...
years old or what?
No, he looks like an angel. Look at him. Look at him there. Looking all sweet.
That's why they call it acting.
That is why they call it acting.
Bit of a stretch.
Who's George? Who's playing George? Hey, George.
Good morning.
Nice. What's your name?
Corey Jensen.
Corey, how are you doing?
I'm doing real well.
I gotta be honest here, dude. You're taking on a pretty big task here.
I have
trying to
felt
portray
the weight of that,
George
certainly.
Bailey.
I agree with you. Jimmy Stewart has been one of my all-time favorite actors. Not just as a performer, but as a person. He's got a wonderful reputation.
And, nobody ever had anything bad to say about him.
Exactly.
How many actors can say that?
Exactly.
Nobody in the industry, nobody in the press, none of his family members or friends, no skeletons in the closet, war hero, the whole 9 yards. What a great guy. And
so
to take on that role, man.
It's been a real honor to reprise that role that he made so famous. As Shelley indicated earlier, I'm not Jimmy Stewart. I have never tried to be in doing this.
Yeah, don't even try to be.
I don't want to come out and do a Jimmy Stewart caricature. As Shelley said, we're here to do a version of the show, and it's been a real pleasure to take on this role. It's a huge role, a lot of work that's been involved.
Big
but
part.
The performance we were able to do for the students yesterday and the teachers that were there, we had a really good response from them, and that for me is the real joy in this is seeing that audience response and seeing them moved by the work that we do.
Did you get the chance to talk to some of the kids after the program?
A little bit, because they had to get back to school. It was kind of a quick in and out, but while some of them were standing outside waiting for the bus, my son, who actually plays my brother in the show, he and I walked out together, and we kind of walked down an aisle. There was kids lined up waiting to get into the bus, and they were like, "Hey, there's George and Harry," and talked to us a little bit, and they were real excited about it.
Did any of them say, "Hey, I've never seen the movie, but," or did some say, I've seen the movie and you did great, or
we didn't have that much time.
I'm just curious as to how many of them had seen it
to
before.
really converse with them too much, but they were real excited to shake a hand and say hello, give a high five, that kind of thing.
And that's the thing about It's a Wonderful Life. Even for those kids that have never seen the movie, that couldn't care less about the movie, whatever, the story is still relevant.
Right.
For someone of any age.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the great things about it too is, some of these kids have probably never been to a live theater production before.
Exactly, yeah.
And to be able to give them a good experience in that theater, and hopefully inspire them to want to either come back for another show or maybe one day get involved themselves is also
Absolutely.
One of those things that sits in the back of your mind and says, I want to make sure I do a good job to inspire them to that kind of thing.
Right. Well, with the storyline itself, I think it's one of those that everybody can relate to, because who hasn't, at least at one point in their life, thought, oh, they'd be better off without me?
You're right, exactly.
I mean, everybody has had some moment in their life where they felt that, and then to see a movie like this that says, well, yeah, you may have felt that too, but just think about where the world would be without you.
Right.
Think about where your neighbors would be, your family would be, your friends would be, your business acquaintances would be without you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the neat thing about It's a Wonderful Life, is because it is so relatable.
Right.
Even if it is a little cheesy.
Yeah.
So...
I kind of need that a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We really do
nothing
need
wrong
that.
with a little
No,
cheese once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, it is Christmas.
It is Christmas. It is supposed to be a little cheesy. It's a Christmas story, What year was that made? I don't even know. Do you happen to know?
47?
46, I think.
46
Yeah,
or
it was
47?
late 40s.
Wow. And to still be that relevant today.
Oh, yeah. And it was interesting because it really didn't get a lot of popularity when it first came out, when it was released. And it actually gained popularity later, and people that have memories.
It became public domain.
Right.
And they started showing it on TV, and that's when it really caught fire with the public. So.
Yeah, it didn't do as well in theaters
Right.
as what you would think it
which
did.
is really sad, but it was just, and because it is such an amazing story. It really is a great feel-good moment kind of thing. But yeah, we have several people in our cast, when they'd filled out information about why they wanted to be involved with this particular show, several of them had never seen the movie.
Really?
And so it was really surprising to me, even of the cast members who had no clue what this story is about. They just kind of heard about it, but they'd never really seen it all the way through. Maybe they've seen snippets, but never really have seen the movie. And so it's kind of nice that they've gone back, and and there was a certain point for some of those who hadn't seen it. I didn't want them to because I didn't want them to try to imitate characters.
Right. Yeah.
That
That's always the risk with doing it.
Because we have a lot of novice actors that have joined us in this production. And so after a time, then I was, okay, now you can go watch that. You need to look at the time period, look how they carried themselves, how they dressed, that kind of thing. And so that was interesting to hear some of their feedback that was like, oh, wow, we really are close to the movie.
They didn't even realize it.
Yeah, so we had some positive feedback on that it's interesting to see, things that I think we take for granted in our culture, because for some of us that are older, that are more familiar with this, we just think, oh yeah, that's just something we know of, and that's a reference, something we make a reference to.
Oh yeah,
but,
I make comments from that movie all the year round.
Oh yeah, and so
every time a bell rings.
Yeah, exactly. Had one of my cast members who's also a teacher at the junior high, and her daughter actually plays Zuzu, who plays that, and she, Kristen Martin, plays Mrs. Martini. And she said she was so excited that her daughter actually was going to get to say her favorite line from the movie.
Oh, that's
and that they
great.
talk about all the time at home and in the Christmas season when they hear a bell, and so now her daughter actually gets to say that line. So it's kind of fun for them.
So we've met Clarence and we've met George, and we've got several other actors in the studio with us. So tell us what part you guys are playing. Who's Uncle Harry?
He's not here with us.
He's not here today? Okay.
But Potter is. Dave Carroll plays Potter.
Oh, you're the bad guy.
Yes. I don't get to play the heavy that often.
Oh, no, you don't, do you?
No.
Mr. Potter.
I played the role 7 years ago, and Shelley was kind enough to let me reprise a role. I'd never reprised a role before.
Oh, wow.
And I love the way that it gives me opportunity to redefine or reinterpret who I think Potter is. At the same time, it gives me a chance to actually work with another director who has her own vision
exactly
of who Potter is, and it's just been so much fun.
That's one of the beautiful things about a stage show, is that, you know, it's you're not trying to duplicate the movie. That's not
I would never even attempt to try to be Lionel Barrymore.
You know,
but you do get to show up at work cranky being Mr. Potter. So.
I do. I do.
It makes it easy. So you just have to get up. You don't have to work at being in a happy mood.
That is correct. And I don't have to worry too much about my blocking because somebody wheels me around.
He's in a wheelchair. So
that's right. You don't even have to find your stage spot, do you?
No, that really is quite of a perk. You know?
And what part are you playing in the play?
I'm actually not playing a part.
Oh, you're not?
I'm tech. We're doing some new things this time that, as far as I know, the stage company hasn't done at the Rogers. We're incorporating audio-visual. We have video that we filmed off premises. We did in the church. We've got moving pictures. We've got all kinds of different things going on. So it's a multimedia extravaganza.
Wow.
Yeah.
That brings up a whole new set of challenges in itself, doesn't it?
To say the least. Actually, I told Mrs. Dunn a couple days ago that I had no idea how I was going to make this work. She says, "Oh my gosh, really?" I said, "Really?" Until Sunday, I didn't think it was going to work, but it does. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. And ma'am.
I play the part of Ma Bailey.
Oh.
It's my first experience with the stage company.
How much fun.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
So you've never been in any of their other previous productions, or
with them? No.
Okay, but you've done some other,
yes,
obviously some other
First
plays.
Baptist, we did Passion Play for several years, and then some other Christmas, the Christmas Post, some other productions there over the years. But it's been great fun.
It is fun, isn't it? It is fun, which kind of brings me...
Oh, my name is Terry Johnson. I'm sorry.
Oh, here's what's really amazing,
too. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Is she, her son, actually, Aaron, actually looks very similar to Corey. And so if you don't know Corey Jensen or Terry's son, Aaron, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, okay, they're from blanked, but anyway, they look so similar. And when we were shooting the video of the wedding, to kind of buy us some time because we have some major costume changes there, and I'm thinking, okay, how can we do this? Like, oh, let's shoot video of a wedding. Let's do that. And so we did that to help buy time for them to change into costume. And so Terry it was close to Thanksgiving, and Aaron was in town, and so Corey got to, her stage son got to meet her real son, and it was really interesting to see them both in profile. Oh my goodness, they really do look a lot alike.
Quite uncanny.
Well, the issue of, like, in the movie, George is portrayed everywhere from like a 12, 13-year-old kid, all the way up to, I guess probably in his 40s or something in the movie. So are you playing George? You couldn't possibly be doing him as a kid, are you?
No, I play him from probably about 22 to 40.
So is that a challenge in and of itself to play a character with that kind of time span?
It can be a little bit. You really have to spend a lot of time thinking through what your I guess it's maybe a little cliche to say what's my motivation in this scene, but you spend a lot of time thinking through that. When he's going through his courtship with Mary, for example, that's a very different time of life than the end of the show where they've been married for however many years and have 4 children and so forth. But having had pretty much those experiences myself through my life, there's a lot of personal that I can draw on to bring to that character and think back on those experiences. And even though it's different people that I'm doing that with on stage, those personal experiences are things I can draw on to say, here's how I would react. Again, we've got a great director who can sit down and watch from the audience and say, hey, try it this way, here's something else to consider. As Dave mentioned before, every director is going to have a different vision about the show they're directing. And so even when I think this is what needs to happen, she might say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. And that's one of the great things I love about doing theater is that collaboration. And I learn something every time I do a show, just from those different perspectives, those different visions of how things should go.
Well, I'm assuming that we're going to be seeing some makeup and something with the hair and stuff to make you his mom.
Yes.
Because
Are you talking about corns here? Or?
No, hers.
We're gonna have to find me some.
Because I'm looking at her going, now, I don't think she looks old enough to be your mama.
Well,
So-
actually, he's about my son's age, truly. But
Well,
but they do give me some extra.
She's doing good, isn't she? You're doing good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. They do excellent job with adding a little bit of
Some gray
aging.
here and there, and that's the beauty of makeup and that kind of thing, isn't it? And that's always the fun of a stage show as well, is that you may be sitting there watching a character that's somebody's playing a character that maybe 20, 30 years older or 20 or 30 years younger than they are, that kind of a thing. But the beauty of just getting lost in a story on the stage, you don't even notice that stuff. You know, you don't even think about that.
That's true.
It all becomes part of the presentation.
Exactly.
So, and to me, there's just nothing quite like, I've said this before, nothing like a live show.
Yeah.
I love movies, you know, I love them, but there's something about going into a theater and the lights going down and the lights coming up on the stage and the story starting and just getting lost in that you just can't beat.
Yeah.
You just can't beat it. And there's something about being part of that, isn't there?
Oh, yes.
You know, I love it. Well, we've got a little time to talk about the stage company itself. Well, you know what, though? We haven't even said when the play's going to be.
Oh, well.
We might need to mention that, don't you think?
Yeah, we open tonight at 7:30, and so we have 5 performances in this run. So tonight and tomorrow night, the 12th and 13th at 7:30 p.m., and then next weekend, the 19th and the 20th, that Friday and Saturday, also at 7:30, and then we'll do a Sunday matinee on the 21st at 3 o'clock. Doors open at 7 on the weekend, and at 2:30 that Sunday. They can get tickets at the door, $8 for adults, $5 for children 12 and under. They can get tickets in advance at the Chamber of Commerce. Sorry, blanked a little bit. A little cold medicine this morning. And then they can also get tickets online at Eventbrite, I believe.
Well,
So,
you are Angel second class.
Yeah.
So.
still working on the
He's
wings.
second class. That's so funny, Angel second class. You know, the stage company is one of our theater groups here, one of our community theater groups here in Poplar Bluff. And before I moved to Poplar Bluff, I had never really lived in a community that had, or lived in a town with community theater like that. I love it. I think it's so cool to see people that you know from down the street or somebody you go to church with or whatever up on stage doing their thing. You know, and we've got a lot of talent in this town.
Yes, we do.
We really have some talented actors and actresses. We've got some talented behind the scenes kind of people.
absolutely.
You know, those people doing the sound and the stage and the props and the scenes and all. You know, there's so much work that goes on behind the scenes as well. And to just call out to the community, you know, we're going to do this play and have all these people show up and audition, have all these people that want to be a part of it. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, it is. It
I think
really
it's
is. And it's
cool.
like the sense of community actually is just very, well, it's real, it's tangible when you're doing community theater, because they're serving one another, they're helping one another, and providing a service, even though it's for entertainment value. But, you know, often we're choosing shows that have an authentic message of hope or faith or strength or whatever, to help just let people escape a little bit and walk away with a little bit of encouragement, and that's nice. But it's just amazing to watch our casts come together, form relationships, encourage one another. If somebody has something that goes on in their life that's, you know, affecting them, others are stepping up because they've got new friends, you know, and hey, how can we help you? And it really is so neat to see that. And JD and I are very passionate about wanting to invest in our community that way, and being able to develop those friendships and relationships with people, and that go beyond just our little circle, because it'd be really easy to do just to stay at school and church and that's it. But by being involved in community theater, we get to know other people that we may not otherwise have interaction with.
You may have never met them in town.
And so, and get to form those relationships and friendships that are lasting. And it's really a neat, just, I don't even know how to put it into words as far as
Well, one of the things the last several years, you know, some of our favorite shows that Shirley and I watch or, you know, have seen or performed are shows that are kind of based on community, and that community that develops, and obviously that strikes a chord in the social consciousness, because there's even a show called Community. So and this show is centered around that community in Bedford Falls, which
small town America.
Yeah,
typical small town.
George Bailey is kind of the crux of, or center of, but as we come together, we've worked for almost 10 weeks putting this up, and so you develop your own community of those folks that are involved with you in that, backstage, on stage, wherever, and it's just a great experience, because we get to this point in the show and we're kind of like, I'm ready for the work to come to fruition, but also ready to just be done with it, because you've put so much time and effort into it. But it always, when we finish that last performance and we strike the set, it's kind of a very melancholy, sad time, because we realize we're not going to be, so we'll see cast members later someplace, and always, oh man, can't really miss seeing you, because you spend so much time together while you're doing the performance, getting the show up, that there's kind of an emptiness there when you're no longer spending that time together. So it's a very neat process and experience that kind of keeps people coming back once they get bitten with the bug, I think.
I think the cast is coming over to your house for dinner a couple times.
No. I couldn't fit them in my house.
The unsung heroes of any live stage production is the production crew and the stage crew. They simply don't get the recognition they deserve. And the shows could not happen without them.
No,
Right.
They're so vitally important, and we have got a great stage crew and great production crew.
Well, we've got people listening right now that may have never been to a stage company presentation. They may have never really even been to a live show of any kind like that. We've got new people in town. We're a growing community. We got people moving in constantly. They may be listening right now, and they may be thinking to themselves, that kind of sounds like a little fun. I might want to try that sometime. How can somebody get involved with the stage company? Maybe they don't have any experience, but they really want to give it a shot.
Stage company's been in the community 27 years, I think.
Wow.
Maybe we're going on our 28th season, possibly,
Really?
somewhere in there. And the beginning's a little nebulous, maybe. But we have a 9-member board. We meet monthly, second Tuesday of every month, and we've been meeting for the last couple of years out at Fellowship General Baptist Church. Just because of availability. One of the things we love about Fellowship is that they're very community-minded, and so much goes on in that building
I attend
throughout
a lot
the
of
week.
meetings there, too.
Yeah, so just have a lot happening, and so they were gracious to allow us some space where we could meet. There's some requirements for being a board member that need to be fulfilled, but if you'd like to be part of our company, you just kind of have to show up and get involved. And so we have a Facebook page that you can be part of, and we put a lot of information out on that page to let folks know when meetings are, when auditions are for things. Of course, we try to publish that information in each of our programs for the show, so folks will know when the audition is for the next time. We'll do some of that through the paper. We also have a web page, stageco.org, that they can go to that has all that information, including our bylaws, so they can see exactly what they need to do if they're interested in serving on our board. So all of that happens. But pretty much it's just a matter of wanting to be involved. I met a young man the other day when I was picking up some things out at Menards for our set, who did tech theater in Kansas, and so it's like, man, you need to come and join us. We're always looking for techies, and it seems like we have a tough time finding those folks sometimes, and people who because not only being an unsung hero for a show, it's a lot of those people don't get a lot of training sometimes, and so finding someone who actually enjoys that, knows their business about that, can be a challenge sometimes. So
hopefully he'll get involved now.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that he did, and so we're trying to do a little bit more. We've talked the last couple board meetings about getting some business cards that we can hand those out. And of course, we're a member of the chamber, and so folks that can look up information, find out things about us through that avenue as well. But really, we're just open. Most of our auditions are a cold read. They come and get up on stage with other folks and read some lines that the director has selected from different scenes in the play. Usually we try to make that as light and pleasant an attitude and opportunity, because we realize people are kind of nervous about that often. So, but we have openings for anyone who has any interest whatsoever in being involved, whether they want to be on stage, want to be backstage. We're constantly looking for scene painters, costumers, seamstresses, seamsters, whatever. So anybody who has an inkling, a desire, or whatever, we're pretty easy to find if they want to, and we'd be happy to try and help get them involved. So.
And of course, everyone's volunteer.
Yes. Everyone's volunteer.
It's all volunteer stuff.
And
so.
we don't. Sometimes we can't place everybody where they want to be placed, but we try to do that as much as possible. So.
Oh yeah. Of course, your auditions are all open.
Yes.
Yes.
So if for that next program, by the way, what is next?
The Diary of Anne
The
Frank.
Diary of Anne Frank.
Directed by Dave
my
Carroll, right over there.
gosh.
So he can give you some information about that.
Well, you just want to take on a real serious one with that, don't you?
Well, yes, I do,
Wow.
because of all the shows that I have directed in the past, they've all been comedies.
Wow. Well,
And
this is no comedy.
So I'm intentionally going out of my comfort zone a little bit because I want to do something different.
Right.
Interesting.
And
When
of
are
course,
auditions going to be for that?
it'll be in early January.
Early January.
Yeah, if they will check out our webpage at stageco.org, check out our Facebook page, and check out the Daily American Republic. I'll have audition announcements, which will be in early January.
Okay.
The show itself will open on March the 20th. And
March
it'll be
20th, okay.
March 20th and 21st, 27th and 28th at 7:30, and then the 29th on Sunday we'll have the matinee. And I'm looking for people of many, many different ages. I'm wanting to. So many times I have seen productions, and especially the movie productions, where Anne Frank is portrayed as being really far older than she truly was.
Yes.
And I'm trying to back that down. I'm wanting to get these to be who they really were. They were young.
Very young, yeah.
Kids. And I want that to come out because it's going to make the story even more emotional, perhaps, because it'll show them just learning about themselves, particularly Anne and Peter.
Right.
And it will bring it more to life at the end when the jig is up. These are young people who are going to their deaths.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure. I don't want to have older people playing those roles, and that's all I've really ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. You're right. I mean, so you need some young people to audition for
Yes,
that
I
one.
do. I need like junior high aged kids, but I also need some older kids, particularly an older girl for Margot.
Yeah.
And then adults, both male and female, to play the adult roles.
Now, some people might be concerned about trying to play a part with an accent.
No accents.
Not going to do the accent?
No,
okay.
No. I'm not going to do that. It's confusing.
I was just going to say, I think it would complicate watching it. Because you're not just hearing the story, you're trying to figure out what they're saying.
Yeah, I don't want anybody speaking with an accent.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless it's a Poplar Bluff accent.
Unless it's a Poplar Bluff accent, yes.
Anne Frank with a Southeast Mo accent. Nothing quite like it.
Well, I just want anything to...
no, I understand. I'm just kidding.
To distract.
Yes, I understand entirely. I think that's probably a good choice.
Well, we are a community theater in our
Yeah.
place, and even though we have a talented cast and crew, there's a lot of folks that have no formal training, and so it's raw talent, and a lot of that, and we see movies clearly that they're professional actors that don't always do accents well.
Right.
And so it's better that we, I think that's one thing that one of our strengths as a company is we want to make sure whether it's a fun comedy or whether it's a serious message or an inspiring message that we're true to character, and really trying to drive and encourage that so that folks aren't distracted like y'all were saying by...
Well, Anne Frank is such a powerful
Yes,
story
yeah.
that it'll be very, very easy to get lost in that story and not even worry about the fact that there aren't accents or whatever.
Exactly. Right.
So, very cool. Golly, what a challenge, man.
It's going to be an interesting endeavor. I'm looking forward to it.
Mercy sakes. You need junior high, you need high school, and adults for that one. So, if you're listening and you've got young people in your family or in your church or whatever, and you think, oh, she would be a great Anne Frank, be kind of encourage them to consider, at least think about it. There's those folks that love the idea, but they're afraid they'll freeze up or they'll forget their lines or that kind of thing. What do you say to those folks?
That's why we rehearse.
That's what rehearsals are for.
And that's really, I think, one thing about doing It's a Wonderful Life right now is that, we've got, 27 in the cast?
Yes.
And
That's a big cast.
Yes.
a lot of them are first time.
Really?
There's quite a few. My son, I mentioned earlier, is in it. This is his first time doing a role where he's got to speak on stage, and he's doing a great job with that. But it's one of those things, because we are community, we want people in the community to come and participate.
Well, it's certainly not your first role.
No,
I know that
I've
for a
been doing this
fact.
about 25 years.
So what caused you to get involved in community theater when you first started with it?
Well, I came to Poplar Bluff about 4 years ago, and like I say, I've been performing close to 25 years. I had taken a little bit of a break for it while I was in law school, and for a short while after I graduated there. Moved to a new community, needed something to do, as the Dunns mentioned a minute ago. A lot of the friends that I have here in town, I've, for the most part, have made through the stage
Have met
company.
through different plays.
And so
and
it's,
stuff, yeah.
for me, it's largely, I do it because I love to do it. But it's also kind of my social life.
Yeah.
This is where my
It
friends
really is
are.
a good way to meet people.
Absolutely.
People
and-
that have kind of a similar interest, and please don't take this the wrong way, y'all. But I've done theater too, so I'm saying it from my perspective. You have to be kind of a ham bone to want to do this stuff to start with.
That's actually a job requirement.
Yeah, I
It
think
takes a certain personality to want to do that, to want to get on stage in front of a crowd of people and portray somebody other than yourself. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
You
To a
know.
certain degree, I think every actor has to be a prima donna to some
it's the
extent.
same way with radio. I tell people all the time, you have to kind of be a certain personality to want to do this every day, But if you have that personality, gosh, it's fun. Isn't it fun?
Absolutely.
Broadcast, acting, politics, it's all the
It's
same.
all the same,
really
isn't
is,
it?
yeah.
I was going to put lawyer in there, too.
Well, yeah, lawyer too. That would do it. That's the same thing.
Because lawyers are kind of actors, too, aren't they?
Very much so.
There is a performance element involved.
It is.
Absolutely.
It really, truly is. Well, I just absolutely love it, and I'm so looking forward to seeing It's a Wonderful Life. Give us those times on the show and the dates one more time, one of y'all.
This Friday and Saturday, curtain is at 7:30. Doors open at 7. Next Friday and Saturday, and Sunday matinee at 3.
Excellent. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to talk more about the stage company and It's a Wonderful Life. It's going to be great, guys. More details after this on today's Talk, KWOC 930 AM and 93.3 FM. welcome back to Brittney on the Bluff, brought to you by Key Drugs, Whitworth's Gift Chest Jewelers, First Community Bank, and Today's Computers in Poplar Bluff. We've been talking with some of the members of the Stage Company, our community theater group here in Poplar Bluff that does their programs at the Rogers Theater. That's kind of a cool part of being a part of the Stage Company, too, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, it's just a historic part of our town. Yeah. I mean, I went there when I was a little boy, and that was a very long time ago, so...
Well, we won't say how long.
Quite right. But yeah, it's a beautiful theater, and it's coming back slowly. Looks still rough on the outside. I think that really puts some people off, but it's getting much better on the inside.
And it's going to look good on the outside eventually. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the goal.
Absolutely.
Anyway, isn't it? Well, it's just I would think, just a neat feeling to be on that stage.
Oh, it is.
You know, and especially like for folks like you that went there as a kid and, you know,
yes,
that kind of thing. It's part of your history.
First time I held a girl's hand was in that audience. That was like a big deal. Yeah.
Wow, that's sweet.
I know. That's pretty cool.
That's kind of sweet. I like that. Well, I love the history of the Rogers, and I can remember when I first moved to town, they were actually still playing movies for a short time after that, and I went and saw, what was it called? Lost in Space. Lost in Space was playing there, and I went down by myself, didn't have anybody that could go with me that night, and sat there in that old theater and watched Lost in Space, and I thought, this is a cool place.
And one of the neat things, yesterday when we had the school kids there, it was full, and I hadn't seen that since I was a kid, so it was pretty exciting, and the claps and the ovations, and I think they booed you a little bit.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, he's Mr. Potter.
Yeah, he's Mr. Potter. So
when he knows he's doing it well.
Nobody
likes
liked Mr. Potter.
supposed to like him.
No, not at all. So.
You know, he doesn't even have like a heart change or anything.
No,
he's not a likable guy.
No redemptiveness in his, yes. So.
You know, it might be different at the end of the story. He turns around and says, oh gosh, you're right. Life is valuable, and, but no.
The only other heavy part that
guy.
I've ever played, I think, was Carlino in Wait Until Dark. And when we had the curtain call, of course, it was a much smaller cast. So when I came out by myself for my curtain call, I was booed.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
And it was wonderful.
Yes, it's exactly what you want.
Apparently, I
did your job.
I started to say that means you did a good job with the part.
Well, again,
because you're supposed to be unliked.
That's one of the great things about live theater is that feedback with the audience, that being in the moment with them. It's just a wonderful thing. You can go to a movie any day of the week, and it's a much different experience than you coming down to a live theater production and being able to just feel that emotion that's coming off stage. And one of my favorite parts is after it's over, not just coming out and taking a bow, but actually coming down and meeting the audience and being able to thank them for coming out to support our show.
That's one of the best parts, because it is community, and we are part of the community.
Absolutely,
so that shaking hands and talking to people afterwards, that's probably one of the best parts.
Well, yeah, I was talking to a person here a while back who has been a season ticket holder for years and years and years. And after every show, they just got up and leave. And they were surprised that the actors come out to talk to the audience and to shake hands and, let them take selfies and all this. And they said, well, they didn't even know that before.
My own father didn't know that. Dad just hit the bricks as soon as, and I was...
As soon as the show was over, I had the door.
I was like one of the title roles, and it's like, where's Dad? Where's Dad? Oh, he left. He was like, really? And I mentioned it to him, he goes, oh, I didn't know. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that then. Maybe some folks that are listening are going to go this weekend, and they may want to stick around and meet you guys.
It is kind of fun.
Yeah.
You get to talk to
find out more about Stage Company and that sort of thing. So, well, you know what? We've only got a few minutes left in the show, but I would really like to go over those times and dates again, because we've got some new people tuning in all the time. Let them know when we can see It's a Wonderful Life at the Rogers Theater.
We open tonight, 7:30. And we'll continue tomorrow night again at 7:30, next Friday and Saturday as well for 7:30 showtimes, and then Sunday matinee at 3 o'clock. Doors open a half hour before curtain.
There you go. You can't miss this one, guys. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a wonderful show.
It's going to be their version, so don't go expecting it to be identical to the movie. For what purpose would that serve anyway, really? Why would you even want to do that, Just come expecting another... not version, but another feel for It's a Wonderful
excellent
Life. It has a
description.
different
It feels
feel.
different.
Yeah.
Well,
It's the same story, but, you know, each of these people portraying these characters kind of has their own thing, their own way of presenting them, and so it may feel a little bit different to you, but it's going to be great.
One thing that surprised me yesterday with the kids is the laughter, because we've been doing these lines for 10 weeks.
And nobody in the cast is laughing, are they?
Right.
And then, you know, I'll be backstage, and I'm hearing them laughing. I'm like, what are they laughing at? And then when they come off, the actors will come off, I'll ask them, hey, what was the laughter about? And they say, what happened? Oh, yeah, I guess that is kind of funny.
Well, the audience participates. I mean, the difference between a movie and live theater is like drive-through and mom's cooking. I mean, it's a participatory.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. That's a really good way to put it. That's exactly what it is.
Well, the actors feed off of the audience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anytime I'm on the stage, if you get that response from you, it's just like, ooh.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
You get that, ooh, and you get even more into your character, and you give the show even more, and it's just part of it.
The audience
just
can
part
really
of the
energize
excitement
the
of live
cast.
theater.
It very much so.
So, well, guys, break a leg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you have a big turnout for all 5 performances. That is tonight, tomorrow night, next Friday and Saturday, and next Sunday for the matinee. So the evening performances start at 7:30. Doors open. What time did you say?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. For the matinee, the show time is 2 o'clock?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
I'm sorry. There was a paper clip over my time.
And they can
Sorry.
get tickets
3 o'clock.
either
Doors
at
open
the door.
2:30.
They can get tickets at the door. They can go to our website of stageco.org and get advance tickets on Eventbrite, or they can go by the Poplar Bluff Chamber of Commerce for advance tickets.
And speaking of tickets, I have a pair to give away right now. How about that?
Wonderful.
Why don't we do that as we're saying goodbye today? We've got a pair of tickets for It's a Wonderful Life. These are good for any of those showtimes,
Right.
Yes.
whichever one works best for you. If you would like to attend It's a Wonderful Life, pick up the phone and give us a call at 785-3838 or toll free 877-455-4930. I'll take caller number, let's say, 4. Caller number 4 at 785-3838 or 877-455-4930. That's it for Brittney on the Bluff for today. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Thanks for coming. This has been a lot of fun. I told him when I retire someday, I'm going to audition for some plays because I really enjoy it. I've always had such a great time in any of the productions I've ever been in, and I've done a few as an adult. A little different than the high school, college kind of thing, but still, it's so much fun. If you're interested, check them out on Facebook or go to stageco.com. Sorry, I wrote it down. I knew as soon as I said it, I'd said it wrong, guys. I am so sorry. Stageco.org to find out more information about the next production, when auditions will be held, and that sort of a thing. Again, we're looking for caller number 4 right now. It's 785-3838 or toll free 877-455-4930. We'll be back on Monday with Brittney on the Bluff. KWOC.